Andrea, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. I was looking forward to this one.
Me too. So we've worked together quite a bit in the past, mainly focusing on skills for talent acquisition specifically, and all your amazing experience being a principal recruiter. Today, we're going to talk a little bit more about career development and how you can maybe accelerate your career or take your career to the next step. So just give us an overview of kind of your expertise, knowledge in this area and what you're up to now when it comes to career coaching.
It's interesting because at the moment I seem to be talking about only two things in parallel, either career development, applicable agnostically, so not only for talent acquisition, and people seem to think that I'm anti-AI. So I'm happy the conversation is about career development. Being in talent for 15 plus years obviously put me in a position where I could work with a lot of individuals across a lot of different functions and professions. And being in corporate for the past 10 of these 15 years, I had to learn the hard way how to grow in my career, how to promote myself in order to get promoted in the company. And while doing that, I worked with coaches and way more experienced people than myself. And then I learned about ways in which we can support ourselves in order to promote in our career, or even if we want to move outside of our career, so make career shifts or just really move even diagonally. So that's how I kind of ended up with a lot of work in this domain, and a lot of my mentoring is in this space, coaching also in this space. I think for the past 2 years, I've gotten, I don't know, over 100, 150 reviews and feedback pieces from individuals who I'm helped. So I'm really happy we don't speak about AI.
I'm sure we can weave it into the conversation somehow. Maybe we'll get a few minutes in before it comes up. So where should we start? Maybe let's say I've been, an IC for a number of years, and I feel like most people maybe don't even think about, their career strategically. You kind of just roll along. So maybe I want to start thinking about my career and maybe how I can progress a bit quicker. What's the starting point?
Where you start? Well, I tell you where you don't start. You don't start with your CV or your LinkedIn profile. That's where you don't start. I think it is worth sitting down with yourself and figuring out where exactly would you like to be going. It's easier said than done. And you can do that by doing a work audit. Audit your work task by task for, let's say, 2 weeks. So 10 days, right? 2 working weeks. And group these tasks into things that energize you, the things that you loathe, things that you don't really feel in any way, shape, or form about. And this will already give you an indication of where you could be wanting to spend your time, energy, focus moving forward. So that's a very basic start. And also identify your real contributions already. So you look around, see what you've done so far, and understand where you really contributed, because the impact you've already had will be a good indicator of the things that you could easily do, most likely replicate, right, in the future. So think about the impact you've had both on your team and your organization or department. I think there was this LinkedIn report. I don't remember if it was 2024 or 2025, talking about the people that put skills first and focus on understanding their skills and promoting those skills are 2 times more likely to be observed and picked for either promotions or moves. So people who are very much aware of their skills, strengths. So you have to do this audit. You have to kind of uncover what you already have.
That's kind of good news though, right? Even just by starting and becoming self-aware, like you're already making some progress and putting yourself in a better position.
100%. And you know what's funny? There are these, I do this with some of the people I work with in a cohort session. We don't know how to understand our own strengths, or we confuse strengths with skills. And I want to give you a two very quick and funny ways in which people can look at finding out their own strengths. They are not the same as skills. Skills, you develop a skill through learning, through education, through practice. A strength is something that comes naturally to you. And these are the two funny ways in which you can look at it. One is the 3 a.m. test, which says something like, if I was to wake you up at 3 a.m. and in a crisis mode, what are a couple of things that you can do really well? They just come innate for you. Like if I was to make you speak, right, and communicate very clearly because something happened, would you be able to do that? It's most likely then a strength, communication. And the second test is down the childhood memory lane or something like that, where you look back at your 10-year-old self and try to remember, what were you just constantly curious about without any understanding as a why. So some children are really good at, I was using the example of me, I was very good with Legos and sorting things out and putting things and coming up, or puzzles. And that's also another way in which you can kind of uncover your strengths. I know we went on a tangent. I'm sorry. I'm going to come back to the topic now.
Yeah, I was trying to think like if you woke me up at 3 a.m., what would I be good at? And I would just really need a coffee first before I could do anything, to be
That's
honest.
also very much a possibility, yes.
So what are you really looking at here? Is it, I like the last point about curiosity. So it's like things you're good at and things you have made a business impact with, and you're looking for where that crosses over with things you actually enjoy doing, right? Surely that's important too.
100%. Yeah, yeah. The first question was about individuals who are maybe not so sure what they should do next or what they want to do next. And I think by identifying what is giving you energy, then identifying, of course, what your strengths are, which again, innate. The other very, very important topic is values, but we are not, that's a big one to look into. And then your skills. So you have to look at this really holistically to try to figure out where on earth should I put my energy into? What would feel like play for me, right? Otherwise, we end up in the same, what is it, Monday scaries
Yeah.
situation, right? When we go Sunday to bed and we would rather continually go to bed and not wake up on Monday. So yeah, for sure, you have to have them all in one place. It's not sufficient to have just one.
Yeah. No, I love it. I think there's a phrase in there like what feels like play to you, but is like hard work for others is like a really valuable, valuable place. I want to talk about mentorship because I know you're big on mentorship. Everyone says like find a mentor. Maybe before we get into that, like why does mentorship help? Like why is that something we should seek out?
We don't know everything ourselves. I mean, for those individuals who think that they have it all figured out by themselves, they're fooling themselves. And I remember a while ago, somebody told me sometimes we need to borrow somebody else's brain. That's the most basic answer I can give you to this question. But I would encourage people to think about the fact that even if we are in large organizations or surrounded by so many people, we don't have the time or the capacity to dive deep with those individuals around us. They can be many, but a good mentor is someone who will help you dig through things. They will not hand you a map on how to solve things, but they will help you build your own map. And you don't have time to really delve into things, GPT like, when you're not dedicating time one-on-one with someone who's more experienced than you and someone who has been through the hurdles that you are potentially approaching, or maybe you're already in. So that's the one thing. And the second thing is, again, you don't exist in a bubble. You're not on an island. You need input from the outside. And another thing which is very helpful, at least I realized from the mentees I worked with, you have someone to spare with. Maybe you don't trust yourself. Maybe you have ideas. Maybe you want to try things. And then a mentor is also there to give you just that little encouragement that sometimes we really need. I want to caveat all of this with mentorship is cool and great, and please go for it. But individuals need to know what to ask for. A mentor is not someone that will just magically read your mind and help you out. Come prepared, have context. You kind of need to know what you want to get out of that relationship in a way.
Was kind of my next question. Like, how formal do you feel these relationships need to be? Like, do you need to go to someone and be like, you know, will you be my mentor, or can this be like a little more fluid in it? You know, it's someone you know who's in your network who gives you that time and input.
I like this question. I think that it can very much be both. I would say it depends a little bit on where you find these individuals. There are platforms through which you can approach mentors you've never met in your life. And then there is an element of seniority. And if that is the case, it potentially can start in a more formalized manner. Whereas if, for example, you have a mentor inside your organization, for example, or within your circle of your network, this obviously is a bit easier to tap into, right? Because there is already some sort of connection, relationship build. You know more about them than you would know about a stranger who you've seen on a platform, but the profile looks really good. So it's just a personal preference. I prefer people to show up authentically and just relate to me. But again, it's also, we have to keep in mind the cultural differences here as well, right? And our own intrinsic way of being. I can be a bit more introverted, extroverted. So I don't think there is no cookie cutter answer to this one.
Yeah, it makes sense. And I think it can be hard to, you know, I speak to a lot of recruiters who are at startups and they're in a team of one, so they have no one around them really who's in their context and,
Yes.
even on the same level of them to spar with, never mind someone who's like further ahead in their career. So it can be a little daunting to know where to start and like even how to find someone who can help you.
100%. Even if you're in a large organization and you're surrounded by other recruiters, it may still feel foreign to us to do so. But I want to share maybe another thing for people to think about. Mentorship doesn't have to come from the exact job family that you're in. I will go back to what I said in relation to auditing your work. When you understand a little bit better what your skills are and what energizes you, what you loathe doing, and then you have your strengths and then you have your values and so on and so forth, you can see that most likely a lot of these skills that you're good at or trying to get good at, they can be developed or supported by individuals who are completely outside of your job family. It is absolutely fine, and I would say even recommended, for you to seek mentorship from an individual who has a broader view on things. Again, trying to avoid this echo chamber, this approach of, I need someone in my profession. If it is something really to do with your very specific profession, then yes, of course. But you can have multiple mentors for multiple topics. And I would encourage people to then go and search for experts in those topics completely outside of your job family. Yeah, I think that's quite valuable for people to understand.
I think the conversation's been applicable to anyone so far. Let's talk a little bit about recruitment, talent acquisition, because that'll be the large part of the audience who's listening to this.
Yes.
I mean, any general advice for them? And what I'm thinking is, specifically, it's been tough for internal TA to even like get a job over the last few years. So how do you think about, developing your career and getting promoted when it's a really tough market?
I will start with a negative thing, and it's an observation I have, and it breaks my heart. We are in 2025 past mid-year, and I think through Talent Crunch, I'm just connected with so many people in talent acquisition. And I have to say, I observe with a lot of sadness that even today, there are individuals who believe that they put AI on their CV, and what that means is that they can use prompts to some level in ChatGPT. This is not acceptable anymore. I think that's why I'm saying it's slightly negative, but we as individuals have an absolute responsibility to ourselves to upskill immediately. If you are in recruitment right now, again, sadly, chances are that if you're an entry-level recruiter, your role will be replaced soon. So you have an absolute responsibility towards yourself to upskill. And thank God there are so many free available resources online. And what I mean by upskill, first, prompt engineering or prompting properly, it's a must. And then you have so much availability of resources with understanding what an AI agent is. How does it work? Understanding maybe you want to play around with vibe coding. You want to play and see if you can do stuff. Anyway, moving from a negative to a more positive side, what will happen if you start doing this? And on the AI side, mandatory, but you can do this on all the other skills or capabilities that you need in order to be a solid talent partner. What will happen when you do these things? You will also start becoming a bit of a multiplier for your team, or you could become a multiplier. So you could be that go-to person for a specific topic. I saw recently a title as talent acquisition engineer or talent, something like that, a title, which refers to someone who is an expert in this technology implementation and so on and so forth. So upskilling, I think it is a responsibility and something we owe to ourselves. And it's not just about artificial intelligence that I would recommend for them to upskill into, but we also know that we have skills which AI does not have. I think it is an absolute brilliant invitation for us to just go at it. Critical thinking, creative problem solving, these are ours. And it's prime time for us to be, okay, I'm going to get really good at that. Go find yourself a mentor to help you with that. Test, see where you stand with your skill today and make yourself a little plan or where your skill level should be in 3 months, 6 months from now. And go for those irreplaceable skills, so to speak. I think these are the things that I would say they are a must right now.
Yeah, I'm thinking about this a lot recently, and I think you're exactly right. There's a negative and there's a positive spin on it, right? Like the clear negative is roles are gonna change and therefore be eliminated and automated in some senses, which is, obviously tough for those going through it, and really feel for the people that lose their job and that have done over the last few years. Like it's really hard. On the other side, like these new skills and ways of working completely level the playing fields for anyone to
Exactly.
go and upskill themselves. And like, if
Hmm.
you are on the curve or ahead of the curve, it's a great opportunity.
Yep.
Even just automation, like no one's really doing automation that well, particularly that I've seen. A few people are doing cool things, but on the whole, and it's really easy to get started. Like you can start for
Yes.
free and just play around. So, I think if I gave anyone advice, it'd just be start playing with the tools and try and build things
Yeah.
for yourself.
100%. And I find it quite heartbreaking when I have conversations with people looking for jobs for months and months and months. I think we are missing an element of understanding of what a blessing it can also be. I know it sounds maybe pompous. I've been unemployed for a really long time. And after I quit my last corporate job, and I took that time and I tried to look at it as a blessing as well. It's like, God damn, now I have time to do stuff. So I would love for people to see that also as an opportunity. It's like, okay, now I have these hours a day, which I can also dedicate to upskilling, which I would have probably never gotten should I have been in a corporate chair or a business seat. And it's true, like you say, Joe, it is, and it's fun as well. Isn't it, to try and play with these things, provided that people understand the difference between AI and automation. I think we don't have this very clearly defined, and I think it is worth for people who are just starting to understand there is a difference. And I feel that automation is so much easier to grasp.
Yeah, it's easier to grasp and easier to implement, like, and start actually building genuinely useful things which save you time. And you're exactly right. Like the great thing about all of this is pretty much all the knowledge you need is free and available. You can get it online, and you don't need to outlay for a course or a degree or anything in this. Like you can teach yourself, which is cool.
Yeah.
Hey, we managed to speak about AI without trying.
Without making it the bad guy this time. Thank God.
Cool. We're 20 minutes in, so we'll wrap up. You've got a masterclass coming out soon, or it's out already. Tell us a little
It
bit
is
about that.
out. It is out. It's I'm running the second cohort right now. It's called the Career Operating System, where I literally we have 3.5 to 4 hours of live course with a cohort of 10 people maximum, where we go through building your entire foundation for your career, understanding how to translate skills, how to translate tasks to capabilities to skills, and how are they transferable to other professions or to other roles in your organization. And then we talk about strengths and values. And how do you put all of them together in order to understand what the hell should I be doing next? So yeah, it's out, and I've already run one cohort, got some feedback, put it in the second cohort now, and I'm running the second. The second started last night, actually.
Perfect. Cool. Well, we'll leave a link for anyone who is interested in that. And we've also got your blog, which we use to base this podcast on, basically. So you have like a guide on how to do an audit and some other cool ways to think about skills on there as well. So we'll link to those too. Andreea, always a pleasure. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.